Hello and welcome to Brink at Fragworld.Or, home of the Brink Compendium, your Bibles for anything you need to know about Brink and to play Brink. Today we have a couple interviews from PAX East 2011 with the folks over at Splash Damage, the makers of Wolfenstein Enemy Territory Quake Wars, and they also made a few maps for Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Doom 3. We have Steve Badman Hessel, the community manager for Brink, and we also have the lead writer, Edward Bongo Boy Stern. They've come to talk to us about Brink. We have Mad Dog from our staff doing the interview and Ethereal working the camera. So with that, let's get started with the interview.
Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do at Splash Damage?
Hey, I'm Edward Stern. I'm lead writer at Splash Damage up on Brink. Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm Steve Hessel. I'm the community relations manager at Splash Damage.
I'd always wondered.
I just found out this morning.
Okay, you handed that business card. Well, wait a minute.
Okay, so let's get into the questions. So, the game looks pretty polished so far. What's left to do on
No,
it?
that's actually wrong. You're wrong. No,
Really?
Yeah.
It is not polished?
No, it's not.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I played it myself. It looks amazing.
Thank you very much.
No.
So that's showing on PS3 at the moment.
Yep.
Now, obviously, we're going for platform parity. I think I've certainly played the game. I thought, wow, this game was not made for the platform, primarily for platform.
Yep.
And we really want to give them all equal love. We just want to make, so obviously,
Good on you.
as a PC developer, we know the previous games were all PC. It's been a learning curve to make console games.
Right.
And we're making them we're making them separately, but we're doing them all ourselves, all in-house, same engine, same assets, same everything. But we're not porting one to the other, so, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome because, that's a huge problem with a lot of games today. They're either ported to PC or ported to console and they suck either way, so that's awesome. So, do you factor clans and teams being able to compete with each other in the gameplay design at all?
A little bit, yes, absolutely. I mean, the challenge for us is, all our background is kind of hardcore PC stuff, and
Right.
we've had fantastic support from the online mod making community, the competitive scene. We would not exist as a company in our current form without those guys. We are fiercely aware of that. At the same time, we are trying to take all the things that are cool about online gaming to a wider audience.
Right.
But if we do that and sacrifice the depth and we don't give competitive players and the clan players what they want, we'll have failed as well.
Yep.
So that's the challenge for us. So in terms of our messaging, obviously most of it is to those people who have never heard of us or don't know why an objective game would be fun or why they'd ever want to do that.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I am concerned about because a lot of people can't appreciate like really hardcore objective-based gameplay such as the Enemy Territory series and Brink.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Quake Wars, we're very proud of Quake Wars.
I love Quake
But
Wars.
that was a hard game to get into. If you were
Yep.
not already, and that's the weird thing, it's like, you don't realise how expert these players are until you break down the number of skills they've got.
Right.
And I think this is true, this is like one of the few criticisms I've got of the competitive scene, is they think they're just average gamers, and they're not. They are super expert gamers.
Yep.
They think they're just like average Joes. You're not, you're looking like PhD degree players. So a lot of the messaging, frankly, is not aimed at them because they know all this stuff in their bones already. They don't need the stuff explaining to them.
Yeah.
So we've had to spend a lot of time going, okay, there's some stuff called online, and it's been a bit scary, and we've had to kind of spoon feed people. Yeah, I don't know, it's too hard. Like, because there's lots of people, they've tried the single player version of the game,
Right.
and they've gone online, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible for them. I think they take rightly need quite a bit of persuading that this can be fun too.
Yeah.
So apologies if some of this has been kind of like, wait, you're really talking down to us. No, we're not talking down to you. We're just trying to get people who've never tried this or if they did it wasn't fun.
Yeah, that's awesome because it's really what you got. I think you should be doing. So.
Honestly, I think in terms of competitive gameplay, Brink is actually much more accessible to the competitive community because we've got slightly smaller team sizes.
Yeah.
I would actually say it's got more layers to it than Fragworld.
Yeah.
But all the player abilities, you can make different builds, different types of gameplay that you like.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more meat there.
And I felt that way too when I played it last night.
The depth is all in there. It's just we're not throwing it at the level 1 newbie player because it's just going to overwhelm them.
Yeah.
Some of the more specialist abilities that will only be available right from the beginning and Great Wars. That's like a higher level unlock.
Yeah.
Like a good player, you're going to unlock that thing like that. You know, it's not going to take long. But it's just too. Like for example, what's a good example? The operative can unlock an ability that lets them hack enemy turrets and turn. You know, like. Yeah. Now that is a weird thing to throw at a player if they've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's bad enough that someone can look like they're on your team and they're not. That, you know, that's enough to be dealing with. So all that stuff is in there. It's just a bit further down in like, and really it is the ability tree. I mean, like we've got this MMORPG depth of player customization.
Yeah.
So like you've got these pro players who like, they're going to turn all the graphics settings down. They don't care about that stuff necessarily. Yeah, a lot of that we've kind of hit the depth of it we put in the abilities tree. And that's where it should be. I think that's the right decision.
Okay. So moving right along. Tell us what you think experienced FPS players will like about the game, and conversely, what new FPS players will like about the game.
How long do you have?
Just briefly.
Yes, I'll have the lobster and the... which order should we answer that in? Okay, yeah, casual. Yeah, I can... Well,
not that we've got any preference.
No, there are a lot of games out. I don't think there are any bad games being made anymore. They're all good. There are a lot of shooters out. They are all good. You need a lot of good reasons to play one rather than the other.
Very true.
And that's true for players. It's also true for us. We only wanted to make a game we wanted to play. It's not like, well, we can stamp this thing out and see if something like it. We're going to spend years on this. Lord knows we have. So
yeah.
It better be full of stuff you cannot do in any other game. So we've got the basic shooter formula. In many ways, it's enemy territory free. Like, if you're into that stuff already, that DNA is strongly there.
I realized that before. I'm a long-time enemy territory player, and it was very, very, you know, as soon as you got into the game, it was very clear that was all those previous elements were there.
But also,
prevalent.
Expose that stuff to the player, so you don't need to be an expert player. So I think the way we thought of it was, think about a really experienced clan player. They know the map, they know the routes, they know the objectives, they know what class they need to be, they know what class all their teammates are, they know what class the enemy team is. You know, they're making decisions on a moment-by-moment basis on all of that. And they probably couldn't even explain why. They just know, I've got to be here and go do this.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't even verbalise it. We want to take that decision, in fact we have, taken that decision-making process and made the game an expert in that. So, I don't want to call it an idiot button, but like, if you just hold up on the D-pad, it will tell you where to go and what to do. No matter how lost you are on the map, just hold it.
Yeah.
It will, by default, it physically rotates you to face towards where you need to go.
Right.
Now that is like, how much of most newbies' problems are just, I'm lost, where do I go, what do I do?
Exactly.
I think we're really getting towards a solution to that.
You can see it on there as well when you have like 8 strangers who've never played together before.
Yep.
On a map they've never played before, in a game they've never played before. They go out there and they manage to coordinate and finish that.
I know, it's crazy. Like even last night when I was playing the game, you know, a lot like you said, people within a couple of minutes, people were like already knew exactly what to do, and we were pound out a game in like 10 minutes.
And they're not talking to each other. They're not using VoIP.
Yep.
There's no V-saves. It's all just using the core verbs of the game.
Yeah.
So I know it used to be stuff that only clan players knew to do. Oh, I'm going to give you ammo. You're going to give me health. How would you know to do that? Unless we really put a big button. Press this button now. We've given you XP. Well done. Oh, you can give yourself ammo. We're not giving you any XP. It's almost as if it's better to interact with my teammate.
Right.
Sorry, that was kind of mean, but that's such a basic lesson. So many players never get an opportunity to learn. And the whole point of the game is making it just instant easy. All right, I buff him. Oh, he buffs me back. Done. Brilliant. Now, really experienced players, you don't need, you're going to know the map. You don't need to do that stuff. I'd advise you to still use the whatever. That's the D-pad on consoles.
Yeah.
Directional pad. Sorry, D-pad is actually a Nintendo copyright, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. The directional pad button, device button. However you want to find it on your keyboard, your mouse, whatever, we'll let you do that. We'll let you do that in game. The hilarious thing, console gamers are totally unused to this. It's like, I don't need to quit and reconfigure controls. It's like, you have to normally. Really? Honestly?
Right.
Okay. I would still advise you to use the mission board, because it just makes it clear, and also it sends the message using the automatic resave system to all your teammates. Of course, if you want to use VoIP, by all means. But VoIP, by default, is just your friends list on the console. So however you want to set it up on PC, that is your choice completely.
Right. Okay. So, tell us about, briefly, we've already talked about some of these things already, but let's just go maybe in a little bit more detail about what are some of the unique things that Brink brings to the FPS gaming scene. And like I said, we've touched on this a little bit already, but let's just elaborate.
It has a unique smell, for a start.
Yeah.
It has an aromatic kind of, movement.
Yeah, the parkour stuff.
Shooters have looked wonderful for a long time now. The animation's amazing, the particle effects are amazing, but we're still stuck with this refrigerator on a roller skate problem. Where I cannot get over, this one pixel too high. I go, sorry, can I just explain the motion I just made? I was miming approaching a table while actually at a table. That probably looked weirder than it looked. So yeah, it just makes, it's weird. I mean, it's to do with a lot of things. It's about not being able to see your feet when you've got a view like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you should be able to climb over that table. Yep. You should need to go to a certain point and press a button and trigger a canned animation. You should just be able to jump over it. So that's what the smart system is about. It's not an autopilot. It just means you don't need to look down at your controller and go, oh, where do I jump? How do I jump? Just jump over it. Or under it, around the side of it. Slide, however you want to do it. And it's been great watching people play, going, how do I do it? And 20 seconds later it's like, oh, I get it, okay, fine. And they just use it to play the game.
And you know what? I think that the smart system actually makes your gameplay a lot more efficient because you don't have to jump over. You don't even have to think about jumping over walls or slotting or doing advanced movements. It just decides for you, and you know what? It got it right every single time that I tried it. And you're trying to get to the objective real fast, and you know what? You just hit that button, you're flying through things. It's awesome.
Well, I think there's two kind of angles to that. Firstly, it's easy to use, hard to master. Like, if you're learning a level, use the smart system to drag you through it. If you time the jumps yourself, you will do them faster. Right. We've got these challenge levels. We've got these 4 challenge levels, which you can play up to 4-player co-op.
Right.
Specifically there to hone your skills. You unlock a new ability, it's like, okay, let's try it in practice. Not in a full game, I just want to do a little look at the laboratory to try it out. One of them is called Parkour This. And it's a time trial. You kind of jump from this, go over, climb under, slide under this, climb over that. If you do use it in a small system, you'll do okay. You time those jumps yourself with the jump button, you will do that significantly faster.
Wow.
So we don't want to kind of put training wheels on players that they can't, you can just not use it if you don't want to. Yeah. I imagine the really expert players, I don't use the smart system that much. Yep. Because I'm used to the maps by now.
Yeah.
Is that true? It felt true, I don't know. Now I'm trying to think, well maybe I do use it, I just don't realise it. But there's certain routines you go, okay, I know how to time the jump to this. Bip, I'm up it quicker than the other guy before or after me. He's there going, he's still doing it relatively fast, and he's still fire while he's doing it, not as accurately because he's taking a hand off the weapon, but we didn't want to make it so that it would hobble players who are really good at movement and can advance all those movement skills, trim jumping, bunning up, all of those things. We wanted to fold that into the game and make it legitimate. There's no exploit to it, it's just how you want to do it. It's in the game by design.
And also I would say that smart system will allow us as well in addition to just doing it manually because there's so many groups that you can discover yourself when you're exploring the levels. At first like, I can get over barriers and stuff, but then you find all these shortcuts getting up and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff there for people to explore.
Yeah, what I think is fascinating is that the game has this really shallow learning curve. It's really easy to get to lock onto, but there's so much depth thereafter. So there's a lot of room for expansion of your skills. But in order to do well in the game, you don't have to know a lot.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
And it's been very encouraging seeing people play today and all that. It's such an array of players. Like people who've never really played a shooter or really experienced PC gamers. Obviously, they had to use a controller, which is ideal for them. But they're getting into the game. It's a lot of game to throw at someone in just 20 minutes. It's a pretty high pressure environment for them. Yeah. They are playing the game. They are really playing it. It's great to see.
All right, so we're nearing the end here. I'm gonna see if we can answer a couple of technical questions that aren't that technical. It should be okay. No, it should be okay.
Yeah. We need coder. Give me a coder in here.
So one thing that some of us are dying to know is, historically, Splash Damage has
historically, all 8 years of back in the 1620s when we began the studio.
No, but seriously, historically, Splash Damage has supported a wide variety of platforms, and then really they like to support alternative operating systems on the PC platform. Is Splash Damage going to continue to do that with Brink and into the future?
So this is a Linux question or Mac question or?
It's like Linux and Mac, yeah.
All right. Well, the trouble with Linux in particular is that there's no Steam, and we use Steam for authentication and a couple of things. So that's one of the roadblocks that we face there. But the other thing is that in terms of which platforms we release on, that's really up to Bethesda as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we've always tried to do Linux and Mac and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that decision is really up to Bethesda.
Okay.
And which markets they want to talk to the game. And I'm sure, all of you guys send them letters.
Yeah, they react to demand well. If the demand exists, there will be the supply. So.
Yeah, I know there's a huge thread in the forums already about this issue, but I figured I would try to address it from your guys' perspective.
And well, you should.
Yep. What achievements and stats will be trackable by the game?
We've got a bunch. In terms of, internally we track lots and lots of different statistics. In terms of what we'll expose, possibly on the internet, but we haven't really talked about that yet. So,
okay.
I'm afraid that'll come later.
Yeah.
And enemy territory like that system would be pretty impressive.
Right. We know what people like.
Yep, yeah. I'm sure you do.
We have no announcements at this time.
Okay, last question.
Already?
Yep. What types of...
But we haven't done our song yet.
You can do that in the end if you like. What types of variables will server admins be able to modify on their dedicated servers?
I actually, when we came here, just setting up the config for this event, there's quite a lot there that you can change and adjust, and the game will actually ship with a number of preset configs for the console.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, traditionally on PC, we've always exposed a lot of that for players to adjust themselves.
Right.
The plan is to do that for Brink as well.
Yeah. So we're not final on that. We are still... We're still in the process. Yeah, we're right in the middle of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
We know what we'd like to do. It's a question of getting it. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it properly, and we know what people want, and we know what we'd like to do, and
so we should probably expect the similar amount of customization that we found in Enemy Territory series.
It may not be, well, that's true.
Well, it depends really, because the games are fairly different.
Yeah, they're pretty
we know that people like to limit perhaps ability tiers or whatever, so we're aware of what
It's certainly a goal. We're kind of in medium-mouth because we can't give you a definitive answer. Our desire is to give admins all the tools they need.
Right.
And we've had some experience of doing that in the past, we don't do that in the future, but I can't absolutely say, yep, we know that for sure because we're still in the process.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to interview about Brink. We're all really excited in our community, so yeah, can't wait for the release.
Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for coming.
Yep, no problem. It was a pleasure, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right, guys.